Hello, I'm Sharon Hunt, International 3-Day Event Rider. I can see there's some questions on horseandcountry.tv forum for me, so I'll answer them now. So I have a question here from Updowns. Hi, I would like to know at what age she begins teaching her young horse flying changes and how she does it. Is it a thing she does it in show jumping and then uses later on in flat work, or does she teach dressage flying changes, and what methods or exercises does she use to introduce the changes? Well, it depends entirely how balanced the horse is. I would, if I have a horse with a good canter, some of them naturally do changes anyway, and if they do naturally change, then I definitely use this and keep them going in this respect. And at the same time, I would also teach them counter-canter though, so that they can have both. If it's a horse that doesn't change very well, I had one recently, I might possibly just teach it when I'm out cantering or galloping. So every time I try and turn a corner, I try and teach them to change, especially if they might be a little bit hot about this. Then it's an easier way to do it out in an open field than try and confine it into the school where they might get a little bit more tense. If I've got something that really won't change, then I might use a raised cavaletti, and then I can just practicing cantering down and then trying to teach them to change over that, which can also help. So it makes it a little bit more fun rather than making it quite a big thing to do. But it doesn't really matter what age they are. I would start as soon as they feel balanced and as soon as they feel ready. So some of mine might feel ready at 5 years old, some of them might not feel ready till 7 or 8 years old. It really depends on how balanced their canter is. I have another question here from Wonky Donkey. How does she mentally prepare for the biggest cross country, knowing all the dangers involved? I think basically it depends entirely obviously on what you're riding and what level you're riding, but my horses are prepared before I go cross country. Obviously we all know the risks involved, but if you have prepared properly, i.e. have done your competitions leading up to it, you have your qualifying competitions, I would always do more than the qualification. So for example, for a 3-star, I think you have to do a CIC 3-star and 2 advanced. Well, I would do probably much more than that, and making sure that their horses are really, really well prepared. If I'm feeling particularly nervous about something, I will use a visualization, and I will make sure that I've gone through the course from start to finish very slowly, working out exactly how I'm going to ride every single fence and going through it as if obviously I'm doing it well. And I also imagine myself finishing the cross country, having completed a clear round, which really helps, because if you have negative thoughts, they can suddenly get in your head and worry about these fences too much. So I always make sure I've gone through the whole course, knowing exactly where I'm going and what strides I'm going on, etc. And it really helps to make you feel a lot less nervous. And I think the other thing is to make sure that you appreciate you might get nervous, or you will get nervous, and to learn how to deal with that, i.e. take yourself away, make yourself calm down, and just try and think about relaxing and making everything go a lot slower. Otherwise, when you tend to get very nervous, everything goes into sort of fast forward and you suddenly realise that you're feeling dreadful. There's another question as well in that, which was also what advice and tips for exercises can she give on a young horse that holds itself in a lovely looking frame but won't reach forward and take the contact stroke stretch down? Well, I would make sure the horse goes off the leg, number one, that's paramount, and probably teach him lots of leg yield from a circle to a bigger circle, trying to teach the horse to be a lot softer on the inside and into the outside rein. And then every time he starts to take a little bit more contact, just trying to allow the horse to stretch a bit more. That's probably number one, and do lots of transitions, trying to make the horse go forward and just take the contact a bit more. The other thing I probably would address is to make sure that the bit isn't too strong. I'm very keen on miler bits, and they have various different ones to help the horse take a bit more contact. So maybe it would be worth trying a different bit. It might be a bit more comfortable in his mouth. I have another question from Ponies123 saying, hi Sharon, congratulations on your season so far. I read your blog and love hearing about all your ups and downs, and of your coming horses too. Out of the gang, which would you see being your next 4-star horse after Tankerstown? Oh, that's quite easy, because I have a horse called Kenny who's 12 and he has done 2 3-stars. We'll do Blenheim in September, and then if he goes particularly well, I'm hoping that we might be able to go to Poe, which is a 4-star, later on this year. And if not, he will hopefully, if I get enough points, go to Badminton, or else he will go to Lamoulen. Another question from Softy. Hi Sharon, if you could own any horse out there at the moment, which would it be and why? I find this question very difficult to answer because there are so many nice horses. Probably one that I'd really like to ride, and I'm thinking is looking even nicer and nicer as it gets older, is Nicola Wilson's horse, which is called Opposition Buzz, because although he looks quite difficult in the dressage at times, he is the most phenomenal jumper and looks really good fun, and he's very, very, very fast. So he'd be quite a nice one. Other than that, I like Daisy's horse, Spring Along, because it's similar to mine. I'd have to have something that's a good jumper. Thank you for submitting your questions. Keep them coming on horseandcountry.tv/forum, and I'll be here waiting to answer your questions.